Away from Nigeria, Cameroon updates death toll in post-election protest to 16. Good evening, this is News Hour on Trust TV. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. The chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP Board of Trustees, Senator Adolphus Wabara, says the party's national convention will go on as planned, despite pressure from some members for a caretaker committee. Wabara made the announcement at his Abuja residence on Thursday during the presentation of the report of the PDP BOT Reconciliation Committee, chaired by Ambassador Hassan Adamu, with Chief Mike Ohadiume as secretary. He said all major organs of the party, that's the Governors Forum, National Working Committee, and the BOT, have agreed to proceed, stressing that only a court order could halt the convention. The PDP's National Elective Convention is fixed for November 15 to 16 at the Lekon Salami Stadium at Damashingbao, Ibadan, Oyo State. Over 3,000 delegates from 36 states and the FCT will attend to elect the new National Working Committee as the party targets unity and the 2027 comeback. Preparations are in full gear at the refurbished stadium, which has been turned into a hive of activity ahead of the event. The federal government has suspended the proposed implementation of the 15% ad valorem import duty on imported premium motor spirit, PMS, and diesel. This was disclosed in a statement posted on X by the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, on Thursday. According to the Director of Public Affairs, George Eneta, the implementation of the 15% ad valorem import duty on imported premium motor spirit and diesel is no longer in view. President Bola Tinubu had earlier approved the introduction of the tariff to apply to fuel imports into Nigeria. The NMDPRA further assured that there is adequate supply of petroleum products nationwide, maintaining sufficient stock levels to meet demand during the current high consumption period. President Bola Tinubu has written to the House of Representatives requesting that legislative action on the Cocoa Management Board Establishment Bill 2025 be temporarily put on hold. The letter, read on the floor of the House by Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, stated that the request is aimed at allowing further consultations on the bill.
I write to refer to the Cocoa Management Board Establishment Bill 2025, earlier transmitted to the House of Representatives, and to request that the Right Honourable Speaker to kindly stand down legislative actions on that bill. This is to enable further consultations. While I thank the House of Representatives for usual cooperation, please accept, Right Honourable Speaker,
Rice farmers in Bauchi State are counting their losses, following a poor harvest this year. Compared to previous seasons, many have recorded sharp declines in yield, raising concerns over food security and future production. Trust TV's Yusho Adamu takes a closer look at the situation.
Compared to last year, rice farmers across Bauchi and its environs have suffered major setback this season. Several farmers who previously harvested hundreds of bags of paddy rice say they are barely managed to get a few bags this year.
To matsalolin da muka samu dai a kan noman shinkafa shine bana dai mu a yankin nan da ruwa ya kai.
Although we have gotten enough rain, but we have not gotten the expected yields due to lack of application of enough fertilizer, and we attribute this problem to the cost of fertilizers. In one of my farmlands, which I used to get 50 bags previously, this year I only got 35 bags. While large-scale farmers recorded low yields, many smallholder farmers returned home empty-handed as their crops were destroyed by disease and drought. The affected farmers attribute these losses to poor rainfall, pest infestation, and diverse weather conditions.
The cause of poor harvest in Bauchi is due to a number of reasons. One of it is that the rainy season this year, we have a short rainy season. Now we have stayed for about 1 month without rain. And initially, even the rainy season started with sporadic raining. So there is no much rain. Planting takes us up to end of July. And sometimes some places around first week or second weeks of August. So the rice does not get enough rain. We have a lot of drought in the northern part of Bauchi State, where we have a lot of farmers did not even harvest anything from their farms. Secondly, in the area near Bauchi and some central zone of Bauchi, we have the problem of blast. Blast is endemic in this area, and it has devastated a lot of our farms.
Kwaɗan matsala kaɗan da aka samu shine bisa irin shinkafan da muke nomawa.
One of the problems we encountered is application of bad seeds. In a farm that we expect to get 20 bags, we hardly got 4 bags. The cost of seedlings is another factor that contributed to our problem this year. Experts say the crisis poses a significant threat to rice production in the state and requires a holistic approach to address the underlying challenges before the next planting season. Dr. Yahaya Yusuf, chairman of RIPAN in Bauchi, recommends a number of urgent measures to boost farmers' resilience and improve yields.
We are calling on the farmers, on the government, to look into this issue. The cost of input should be subsidized everywhere in the globe, in the world. Countries that are serious, they subsidize these inputs for farmers. They make subsidies in one way or the other. Secondly, government should encourage farmers so that they will be able to go back to farm. Importing rice will cripple the farmers in the country.
He called on the local, state, and the federal government to prioritize interventions such as input support, irrigation infrastructure, and access to improved seedlings. Until these issues are addressed, farmers warn that Bauchi may face a shortage of rice supply, as many may not be able to cultivate their farms in the next season. Yushau Adamu, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Still staying in the northeast, the Gombe state government has announced new security measures aimed at strengthening peace and stability across the state. This follows an expanded Security Council meeting chaired by Governor Muhammad Inuwa Yahaya, which led to the suspension of 2 traditional leaders over alleged negligence in handling the recent farmer herder crisis. Hassan Lawan Kohli tells us more in this report.
The council deliberated on a series of security challenges, including renewed clashes between farmers and herders in Punakaya local government area, which resulted in the death of 2 persons. Following the development, the council approved the suspension of 2 traditional rulers from the affected area for their alleged failure to effectively manage the crisis.
We have this incident here in Punakaya, resulting to the death of a village head son, and also a police security agent was killed. And that is why the governor called the meeting immediately before the thing escalates. Because he always wants to maintain that good name which has always got to the most peaceful place in Nigeria. That's why we came. And we had all the security agents, they gave their support. At the end of the day, immediate solution was to suspend the district head for other things that occur, and also the village head. We don't want to suspend our village heads or the district heads. For us, yes, it's a big problem. Because if you suspend a district head and or a village head, you have created a vacuum in that place.
In another resolution, the council accused scrap metal dealers of fueling social biases, especially among young people. Consequently, it imposed restriction on the movement of scrap materials, popularly known as Bola Jari, between 6 p.m. and 7 a.m. It also approved the centralization of scrap trading activities in a designated yard within Gombe Metropolis to curb theft and vandalism.
I was given the responsibility to formulate given rules and guidelines on the operation of voluntary business generally. When I say voluntary, I mean all the other aspects. And a committee is proposed to be established under that executive order to be headed by the Honorable Commissioner of Trade and having some other members like representatives from the police, representative of the SDS, representative of the civil defense, representative of the Ministry of Internal Security.
The council further deliberated on the growing menace of drug abuse, with the NDLEA expressing concern over its increasing link to criminal activities. It also condemned recent attacks on security operatives, warning that anyone found assaulting law enforcement officers will face prosecution. Traditional rulers, led by the Michael Tungo, pledged their support for the government's peace initiatives and promised to strengthen dialogue and vigilance at the grassroots level. Hassan Lawan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
On political matters, former Kano State Governors Abdullahi Umar Ganduje and Rabiu Kwankwaso met for the first time at the 2023 elections. The meeting, which took place at the residence of former Bauchi State Governor Ahmed Adamu Muazu in Abuja, was described as cordial, with both leaders exchanging pleasantries. The encounter has sparked interest given the long-standing rivalry between the two politicians. Some observers see it as a significant political moment, potentially marking a new chapter in the relationship. Ganduje has stated that the All Progressives Congress APC is open to welcoming Kwankwaso back into the party, but only if he meets certain conditions. The meeting comes amid speculation about Kwankwaso's potential return to the APC, with some predicting it could impact the party's dynamics in the 2027 general elections. Still in politics, two members of the House of Representatives from Kano State have officially defected from the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC. They are Segiri Ibrahim Kuki, representing Kano Municipal Federal Constituency, and Abdulmumin Jibrin, representing Kirubebeji Federal Constituency. The lawmakers were received in the Green Chamber on Thursday by Deputy Senate President Senator Barrow Jibrin, alongside APC National Chairman Nantawe Yilwada, former National Chairman Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, and Chief of Staff to the President Femi Gbajabiamila. Several APC chieftains from Kano State were also in attendance to welcome the defectors.
I wish to formally inform you and the entire Honorable House of my decision to resign my membership from the new Nigerian People's Party and to join the All Progressive Congress APC with immediate effect. My decision to leave the NNPP is born out of the deep internal crisis, lack of cohesion, and irreconcilable divisions within the party, both at the national and state levels. These persistent conflicts have created an environment that is no longer conducive for productive political engagement or for the pursuit of the collective aspiration of my constituents. Please accept, Right Honorable Speaker, the assurances of my highest regards. Signed, Honorable Engineer Segiri Ibrahim Koki. My dear brother and colleague, congratulations.
Away from that, on the health scene, the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF and the federal government have urged journalists and media organizations to play a leading role in raising awareness and changing public behavior towards eliminating neglected tropical diseases, NTDs, in Nigeria. Speaking during a media dialogue on NTDs elimination in Bauchi on Thursday, UNICEF Chief of Field Office in the state, Nuzat Rafiq, said poverty, poor sanitation and lack of access to clean water remain key drivers of NTDs. She stressed that communities must adopt cleaner and healthier practices to break the cycle of disease and poverty, noting that NTDs hinder children's growth, education and productivity. Rafiq called for stronger investment in safe water supply, waste management and household hygiene, while warning against open defecation and reliance on unsafe water sources. Also speaking, Hawa Abubakar, Northeast Zonal Coordinator of the Neglected Tropical Diseases Control Program under the Federal Ministry of Health, described NTDs as diseases of poverty that disproportionately affect rural populations. She appealed to the media to amplify accurate information and sustain awareness campaigns, emphasizing that enlightenment remains one of the most powerful tools for prevention and control. Flight operations at the Nnamdi International Airport, Abuja, were briefly disrupted on Thursday when a private jet's tire burst during landing, prompting a temporary runway closure. The incident occurred around 2 p.m., forcing authorities to halt operations briefly. Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection at the NCAA, Michael Achimogo, confirmed the disruption, noting that normal operations have since resumed and the aircraft was safely cleared. The cause of the tire burst has not yet been officially determined, and authorities have not indicated whether an investigation will be launched. This is the latest in a series of runway-related incidents at Abuja Airport. On 12 November 2023, an air contractor's flight 5NB-wike had its nose wheel stuck in the grass verge while exiting the runway, leading to the temporary closure. Similarly, on 11 December 2024, an Allied air cargo plane skidded off runway 22, prompting emergency shutdown and clearance operations. Despite these disruptions, airport officials have assured the public that safety protocols remain in place and flights are operating normally. A group known as the Concerned Nigerian Citizens has called on the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to withdraw all threats against Nigeria and instead support efforts to address the country's challenges. The group made the call while speaking at a press briefing in Kaduna. The report.
Members of the group, including Professor Usman Yusuf, Dr. Aliyu Tilde, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, Barrister Kalli Al-Ghazali, and Dr. Bilkisu Oniyangi, described the U.S. President's decision to list Nigeria as a country of particular concern as unfortunate. They said the actions stem from the failure of Nigerian leaders to fulfill their constitutional responsibility of protecting citizens irrespective of ethnic or religious differences.
Nigerians should not quarrel over who is being killed the most. Every life taken, every kidnapping or assault anywhere in Nigeria matters equally. Those who kill us do not care about our faiths. In many instances, they are people of our own faith. This battle is between peace-loving Muslims and Christians on the one hand, and others who kill them. Those who brought us to where we are today are our leaders, and we must hold them responsible.
She emphasized that such threats amount to an attempt to undermine the sovereignty of Nigeria and other African nations.
The world needs to take notice of attempts to subvert the sovereignty, cohesion, and strength of Nigeria and other countries in and around the Sahel. Those behind these attempts seek to create a hostile enclave on foundation that will intensify the spread of terror globally.
Professor Usman Yusuf stated that Nigerian leaders have failed to engage the international community effectively to counter false narratives and respond decisively to the ongoing killings across the country. The government has failed to protect its citizens and stop the killings across the land. However, we are telling America that Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and the false narratives they have heard are not true. They should not invade or interfere in Nigeria's internal affairs. Professor Yusuf urged Nigerians not to engage in divisive debates about which region suffers more casualties, stressing that every life lost or person kidnapped matters equally. He noted that criminals targeting Nigerians do not discriminate based on faith or of ethnicity. Yalla Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
The Nigerian Senate has taken a significant step toward modernizing the country's military legal framework. To this end, the Senate on Thursday passed for second reading a bill aimed at repealing and reenacting the Armed Forces Act with updated provisions to align with Nigeria's constitutional and security realities. The report.
The bill, sponsored by Senator Abdulaziz Yaradua, seeks to establish a modern, constitutionally compliant and operationally responsive legal framework for the armed forces of Nigeria. Senator Yaradua explained during plenary that the current Armed Forces Act dates back to military decrees of the 1960s, last consolidated in 2004, and no longer meets today's demands. He emphasized the need to align military governance with democratic accountability and to modernize disciplinary procedures.
Outdated fines like 200 naira or 500 naira are replaced with percentage-based penalties tied to salary levels. The bill also extends protections and rights to non-commissioned officers to boost morale and fairness. Many democracies, Mr. President, my distinguished colleagues, including the United States, United Kingdom, and South Africa, have modernized their military laws to ensure justice, accountability, and professionalism. Nigeria cannot afford to lag behind. This bill therefore places our military legal system in step with global best practices and strengthens our reputation in international peacekeeping and defense cooperation.
Senator Ali Ndume from Borno South lent his support, describing the reform which he said was long overdue.
Mr. President, it's a long time and there is a need to, as we evolve in our democracy, we also align all other laws, especially the armed forces, to be in line with modern democracy, rule of law. This is what this bill is trying to do, to update the laws, subject the armed forces to civil rule, and also improve on human rights, protection, and others, and efficiency.
Senator Tahir Mungonu called the bill a necessary move to bring military authorities under democratic control, while Senator Samson Ekong of Akwa Ibom South called it a profound step to deepen the nation's defense policy framework.
It also seeks to subject military authorities to the command of the commander-in-chief, that is democratically elected president, or in a nutshell, subjects military authorities to the authority of democratically elected institutions so that they cannot be masters of themselves.
It's very important that the principles of fair hearing, that the principles of our constitutional process be fully followed. So on behalf of Akwa Ibom South, I throw my weight behind this bill as part of a wider process of reform that will deepen the contents of our military law and jurisprudence.
Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibril, who presided over the session, put the bill to a voice note for passage. He later referred it to relevant committees on defense, Army, Air Force and Navy, directing them to report back within 4 weeks.
A bill for an act to repeal the Armed Forces Act and to reenact a modern, constitutionally compliant and operationally responsive legal framework for the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and for related matters 2025, SB 791 second reading taken. The bill is referred to the Committee on Defense, Army, Air Force and Navy to report back within 4 weeks.
The bill now awaits further committee review before advancing to the next legislative stage.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shoibu, has commended troops of the 82 Division for their improved security operations across the Southeast region. In a statement, the Army Chief urged the personnel to continue upholding the core values of the Nigerian Army, emphasizing the importance of obeying lawful orders and exercising due diligence in all assigned duties. He acknowledged the significant role the division has played in maintaining peace and protecting lives and property, while encouraging soldiers to sustain the momentum in ensuring security across the region. The Chief of Army Staff reiterated that discipline, professionalism and adherence to operational protocols remain critical in achieving long-term stability and enhancing public confidence in the military.
I want to encourage you to remain steadfast, disciplined and resolute as you carry out the tasks before you. The job before you, the job of soldiering, is a noble one, and you must continue to uphold our values, the Army core values. Obey your officers that stand before you in all legal orders they gave you, and come to due diligence as you carry out your mission. I want to congratulate you so far and the division in particular for the successful conduct of the Anambra State elections. It would not have been possible without the professionalism you exhibited. Are you promising me you will uphold that? Yes, sir. Are you promising me that? Yes, sir. Good.
To certain security matters, troops of the Joint Task Force JTF Northeast Operation Hadinkai have rescued 74 National Youth Service Corps NYSC members from a possible abduction by Boko Haram ISWAP terrorists along the Buratai-Kumuyu Road in Borno State. The immediate information officer of the task force, Sani Ba, disclosed this in a statement on Thursday, noting that the Corps members were intercepted while traveling in 3 buses through the volatile corridor. According to him, a military patrol team was swiftly deployed to the scene after a CCTV system monitored by troops detected suspicious movements involving the vehicles. Uba said the rescued NYSC members are currently being accommodated at the Buratai military base, pending further arrangements for their safe relocation to their destinations. The statement reaffirmed the military's commitment to ensuring the safety of citizens and preventing terrorist elements from disrupting peace and stability in the Northeast. This is News Hour on Trust TV. We'll return from the break. We'll take a look at Agege markets being sealed and traders seeking the governor's intervention. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.
See a problem in your community? Don't just complain. Record and send it. From bad roads to broken schools, waste dumps to security lapses, or challenges accessing healthcare services, your video can make a difference. Be part of the change. Send us 1-minute short clip via WhatsApp on 080-7599-2766 or 091-3383-5150. Citizens Report. See it, record it, and send it. Your story matters.
Ƙasar nan za ta iya haukatar da mutum. Ai kuwa kawata. Wani ɗan siyasa yana ta ikirarin matasa bayan ɗan shi yana can yana ɗaukar motar gwamnati yana ɗaukar 'yan mata a jami'a.
Ai kuwa gashi nan. Yadda yaro ya sha wata babbar riga kamar zai tafi raka budget din gwamnatin tarayya. Wani ma yayi commenting yace pradon gwamnati ne fa amma ta zama kamar tashi.
Har ila yau kin ga wani matashi a Zamfara ya kera kukar gas da tsofaffin karafa. Wani yana can yana cin dukiyar da ba tashi ba, wani kuma yana nan kokarin farawa daga ƙasa.
Kasar dai kenan ƙawata. Ɗaya ce amma kowa da nasa manufar.
Wallahi kam. A'a, kin ga tuwo kamar na Chef Zulai?
Oh, ashe ke ma kin san Chef Zulai? Da wayar hannunta ita ma ta fara a gida. Da 'yan kayan abinci amma yanzu in gaya miki kawata ita take girke-girke na manyan bukukuwa a gari.
Amma kin san me ya faru a bikinta kuwa? Angonta ta kama yana tatin da babbar ƙawarta. Nan take ta soke batun auren.
Ƙawata, ai Aminiya ma ta yi posting. Ga ma inda take cewa gara ta yi aikin raba jollof ita kadai akan ta yi faman zubar da hawaye a gidan miji.
Wannan ke kam ƙawata. Wai wannan rayuwa. Ni fa yanzu duk labari na farawa yake da na gani a jarida Aminiya.
Ni tun kafin ma in bude app din kin riga da kin ban labarin komai.
Shi yasa kika kasance Aminiya ta.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now a recap of our top stories. We told you that PDP insists on Ibadan Convention amid court orders. We also told you that rice farmers suffer heavy losses as yields decline due to disease and drought. Now to more stories. The middle class in Nigeria, once seen as the bridge between the rich and the poor, is fast disappearing. Rising inflation, job losses, and stagnant wages have pushed many families into poverty, shrinking the country's economic backbone. In this report, Abdullahi Ahmed explains on how the struggle to maintain a decent standard of living is forcing many Nigerians to make hard choices every day.
There was a time when Nigeria's middle class represented stability. A teacher with a car, a banker with a mortgage, a civil servant planning for retirement, or a small business owner who could afford private schooling for his or her children. In the early 2000s, analysts like Standard Bank estimated this particular group at roughly between 20 to 23% of Nigeria's population. About 23 million back then with disposable income, stable employment, and access to credit. They were the engine of consumption, buying electronics, supporting real estate boom, and fueling the growth of private education and healthcare. But that picture has changed sharply. Inflation, currency devaluation, and rising taxes have eroded real incomes. Nigeria's inflation hit about 33.95% in 2024, with food inflation above 40%, the highest it has ever been in 2 decades. Electricity tariffs, transport fares, and school fees have multiplied several times over. The once comfortable salary now barely covers rent and food. So, who counts as middle class in Nigeria today? Economists suggest a typical Nigerian household would need to earn between 800 and 1.2 million naira monthly to maintain a modest middle-class lifestyle in a city like Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt, or even a Tier 2 state. That means paying rent, feeding a family, sending children to basic private school, owning a decent car, and saving some money at the month end. Yet, less than 5% of Nigerians earn anywhere near that range. The national minimum wage is at 70,000 naira, while many skilled workers in the civil service or in the private sector earn below 200,000 naira a month. That gap alone shows how the middle is shrinking. Historically, during the Obasanjo and Yar'Adua years, the middle class expanded with banking, telecoms, and oil service jobs, creating steady salaries and career paths. By the Jonathan era, even with economic inequality, there was still a visible consumer base. Families were traveling, buying homes, and shopping in malls. But the recession of 2016, the COVID-19 shocks, and subsequent currency crisis pushed many of these households into debt or outright poverty. Today, Nigeria's social pyramid looks dangerously narrow at the top and extremely wide at the bottom. Oxfam data shows that the richest 10% control well above 45% of the national wealth, while the bottom 50% share less than 10%. With the cost of essentials skyrocketing and no real wage growth, there's little space between extreme wealth and extreme poverty in Nigeria today. The result is a country with two visible classes: the elite few, insulated by access and privilege, and then the struggling majority, constantly adjusting to survive. Compared with peers like South Africa, Nigeria's middle class has been hollowed out. In South Africa, for example, despite inequality, a strong credit system allowed salary workers to maintain assets. In Nigeria, inflation, weak credit access, and policy inconsistency have destroyed that buffer. The loss of a vibrant middle class means more than economic pain. It weakens democracy, shrinks consumer demand, and undermines national stability. According to experts, without a strong middle class to drive production, spending, and tax revenue, Nigeria risks becoming a country of extremes. Those who have everything on one hand and those who have nothing on the other. Rebuilding the middle class requires more than job creation. It needs predictable policies, living wages, affordable education, and lower inflation. Because without a middle class, a nation like Nigeria cannot stand balanced for long.
Parents and residents of Medjugorje village in Charanchi local government area of Katsina State are demanding justice over the brutal killing of 37-year-old Habibu Musaud. Habibu Musaud was allegedly killed by officials of Katsina State Community Security Watch Corps stationed at Geza village in Kankai local government area. Trust TV's Abdullah Yemedi in the state has more in the report.
According to reports, Habibu Musaud, a native of Medjugorje village in Charanchi local government, was a professional fashion designer based in Zaria, Kaduna State. He was allegedly shot dead in a commercial vehicle at Geza village on Kafinsoli Marabar Musawa Road by suspected officials of Katsina State Community and Security Watch Corps a few days ago. Habibu was heading to his village, Medjugorje, to make final arrangements of his wedding, which was 2 months away, when their vehicle was stopped by the Sea Watch officials, who allegedly fired shots, killing him instantly, while 2 other occupants sustained gunshot wounds. His parents, Habibu Abdusamad and Saratu Medjugorje, who were visibly distraught when Trust TV News visited, lamented the brutal killing of their son, who is the only breadwinner of the family. While demanding justice for Habibu Musaud from relevant authorities, his parents called for immediate investigation with a view to bringing the perpetrators to justice, saying it is inhuman to allow people who were employed to safeguard and protect lives and property end up killing innocent people. Sometimes security forces like the Sea Watch are crossing the lines. At the moment, there are a lot of people complaining about their excessive use of force and brutality, especially on locals. They also extort residents. In fact, we are in a very dicey situation.
When I received the news, I collapsed. But don't forget, we are all mortals. Those who orchestrated his killings must surely die and return to our Creator, who is the best of all judges. However, while I believe in destiny, I also want justice for my son, who was killed innocently for no reason.
The incident, which triggered tension in Majanwaya and surrounding communities, has continued to raise questions among residents on the excessive use of force on innocent civilians by Sea-Watch officials in Katsina State. Residents are asking the Governor Diko Umaru-led government to urgently intervene and salvage them from unwarranted arrests and detention, killings, harassment, and intimidation by the Sea-Watch officials.
The only breadwinner of the family was coming home from Zaria to finalize his wedding preparations when he was killed by watch officials at Gaiza village. I want the relevant authorities across the country to come to our aid. We demand justice because our son was innocent.
Actually, it is difficult to comprehend our situation because we have been subjected to untold hardship. The sad part is that the people employed to protect us are the ones killing us. Just a few days ago, this village was attacked and many residents abducted. The unfortunate killing has thrown the entire Majanwaya community into mourning, leaving residents referencing similar brutal killings linked to the local security outfit across the state. The Special Advisor on Katsina State Community and Security Watch Co., Yusuf Ibrahim Safana, who promised to respond to the claims, later declined comments, promising to call Trust TV News anytime he is available. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
From Katsina, we go to Lagos State, where traders along Old Abeokuta Road in Agege are appealing to the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, to intervene after the newly elected local government chairman reportedly sold their market and locked over 100 shops. Victoria Colo's report is presented from our studio.
The Old Abeokuta Motor Road Market, located beside the Agege main market, has been sealed by the newly elected chairman of Agege local government, Abdul Ganiyu Obasa. The closure, which took effect on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025, has left many traders stranded and lamenting the loss of customers and income due to the locked shops. According to affected shop owners, Lagos State Task Force officials arrived in patrol vans and ordered all traders, especially those operating near drainage extensions, to vacate the area, a directive they said they promptly obeyed. However, a confirmation reportedly broke out between some area boys and the task force officers, leading to the sealing of more than 100 shops. The affected traders and shop owners are now appealing to Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to intervene and facilitate the reopening of the market.
This is the 8th day. This happened last week, Tuesday, and it happened between Kai officials. They are here to sanitize the environment. There are people that are illegally, doing business along the road corridors, most especially the railway side. And, Agege presently have a new chairman, new government that is interested in, sanitizing the environment and make it look good and clean. So I think he engaged the Kai's officials to come and clear the corridor. And on the process, there are some minor attacks from, people revolted that this and that, they don't want to, adjust. They don't want to be displaced where they are doing their business. And along the process, there are some, little injuries.
Actually, what came up is strange to every one of us. I think we are here last week Tuesday when the Kai officer came. Initially, when they came, they are just trying to maintain orderliness, that all this extension, they said they brought warning to us before that we should remove those extensions. But when they came, they left our place and go to the other side. We learned that some people went and attacked them. To the extent that one of them got injured. So when they are coming back, another day they came to chase everybody away and lock the shop.
It was just sudden on Tuesday morning, last week Tuesday, that we saw their vehicle. They came, they started. It was kind of a war. Brought security officials to shooting tear gas, firing tear gas, that we should start removing it, even by force, without prior notice. They started removing all these extensions, and most of us too, we complied by it, and they sealed up our shops. And since then, we've been going to their office here and there, virtually every day, for them to come out and seal it for us.
After a few days that the commissioner came around here, and then we thought they were going to face the other side, which is the railway line. And then on Saturday evening, around 6 o'clock, some kind of people now came around and said that everyone should remove the extension. That was on Saturday evening. Ordinarily, not supposed to be official, it's after 6 o'clock. And so on Tuesday morning, early morning, they came with their tractors, with their things, and start demolition. And then along the line, we will hear that maybe there was a small fracas somewhere, because this is like a game market, so you can expect anything.
Reports indicate that each of the sealed shops was locked with a red padlock, with the reopening set to attract a fine of 20,000 naira per shop. Shops locked with 2 padlocks are reportedly required to pay 40,000 naira before reopening. Despite these conditions, the traders say they are ready to comply with the local government's regulations, as their main plea, however, is for the market to be unsealed so they can resume their trading activities and restore their livelihoods.
The House of Representatives has directed the Federal Ministry of Education and WIEC to suspend the planned computer-based testing CBT for the 2026 WASCE until 2030. The decision followed a motion by Honorable Kelechi Nwogo, who warned that most schools, especially in rural areas, lack computers, internet access, power supply and trained teachers for the CBT system. Here's more in this report.
Lawmakers urged the ministry to use the next 4 years to provide necessary facilities and training, while committees engage stakeholders and report back within 4 weeks.
House is also aware that most of the schools in the urban areas and in the rural areas do not have functional computers, nor computer teachers, and as a result, they have not used computers before. We are further aware that unlike JAM, no candidate is expected to write less than 9 subjects, including practical, objectives, and theory.
The House also addressed the nation's revenue crisis, noting that Nigeria loses over 8 trillion naira annually through tax incentives, waivers, and exemptions, in a motion moved by Honorable Ibrahim Muhammad.
The House resolves to constitute an ad hoc committee to investigate the administration and impact of tax waivers, exemptions, and incentives granted by the government between 2015 and 2025.
Other adopted motions include the immediate establishment of a committee by the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Development to ensure hospitals nationwide have the capacity to handle emergencies, moved by Honorable Rodney Mbaiwe, and the need to reduce fertilizer and farm input prices, moved by Honorable Yusuf Galambi.
The House convenes that if hospitals in Nigeria are equipped with robust emergency response system, needless deaths will be avoided, while Nigerians who require emergency treatment will have renewed hope in healthcare system in the country.
Aware that many parts of Nigeria are already grappling with food shortage, with inflation making basic food unaffordable for many, as prices of goods and services have continued to rise.
The Committee on Oceans and Fisheries, led by Honorable Akarachi Amadi, presented 3 reports to strengthen Nigeria's fisheries, marine engineering, and diving technology sectors, focusing on research, training, and capacity development.
Act to amend the Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria, Act Cap A12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2024, to establish the Brackish Water Fisheries Research Institute, Ungo, River State, and for related matters, HB
49.
A bill to amend the NAFDAC Act to include regulation of herbal drugs, sponsored by Honorable Jesse Okeju Anuaka Lucy, was passed for second reading. In politics, two NNPP lawmakers from Kano, Abdulmumin Jibrin and Sagir Oki, defected to the APC, citing internal party crisis following a similar PDP defection in Kaduna. The national chairman of APC, Nentawe Yelwata, deputy president of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, former speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, and former national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, are among notable party members who witnessed the formal defection of Abdulmumin Jibrin and Sagir Koki to the APC.
Moving away from Nigeria, still in Africa, Cameroon's government has updated the death toll from last month's post-election protest, reporting 16 fatalities and over 800 arrests as of Wednesday. However, independent estimates differ significantly. Data from two United Nations sources suggest that at least 48 civilians were killed during the demonstrations, while opposition groups claim the toll stands at 55. Human Rights Watch condemned the crackdown, accusing police and gendarmes of using little force, committing killings and arbitrarily detaining hundreds. The NGO reported that many protesters were shot dead, while dozens more sustained gunshot injuries. Some 2,000 people remain in detention across the country, with many yet to appear before a judge. The unrest erupted after the announcement that President Paul Biya had won an 8th term in office in the October 12 election, which opposition parties and supporters alleged was rigged. At 92 years of age, Biya is the world's oldest sitting leader. Many young Cameroonians have voiced the desire for political change. And in sports, Super Eagles of Nigeria defeated the Panthers of Gabon 4-1 in Rabat, Morocco, in their first match of the 2026 World Cup playoffs. Nigeria and Gabon played goalless in the first half, while the second half saw both teams fighting hard to earn a goal. Nigeria scored first through Akko Adams in the 78th minute. Gabon equalized from deflection of Osai Samuel by Lamina to make it 1-1, ending the regulation time. The first half of the extra time saw 3 more goals in the 97th from Chidera Ejuke, as Victor Osimhen made up for the goal earlier missed by scoring a brace to make it 4-1. Nigeria awaits the winner between Cameroon and DR Congo to pick a ticket for the International World Cup playoff. Still in sports, the 2025 Under-17 Northeast Unity Football Tournament has ended at the Tafawa Balewa Stadium in Bauchi, with Team Bauchi defeating Gombe 4-1 and penalties on Tuesday. The tournament, organized by the Ariwa Consultative Forum, aims to address sports development challenges across Nigeria, particularly in the 19 northern states. The report.
Shortly after presenting the trophy to Team Bauchi at the zonal final, both coaches expressed optimism that the tournament will serve as a platform to nurture young talents and advance youth football development in the region.
Is happening in the game, but in the good faith.
Honestly, our players performed very well throughout the tournament. As you can see, this is the only match we lost, the final against the host team. We hope to perform even better when we get to Kaduna. We thank our state government for the support given to us throughout the tournament. We also appreciate the sports administrators and stakeholders. Despite our late preparation, we are determined to maintain the momentum and by God's grace, be crowned champions in the coming days in Kaduna. Similarly, the organizers and the Bauchi State Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Adamu Babeo Gabarin, emphasized the importance of using sports to engage young people and promote peace across northern Nigeria.
They have been doing a lot, and even the gap is too wide between these
and the young people within the space. So at least this kind of tournament is a window of giving opportunity to the young people to have a better understanding on what this our leader has been doing for the past 40-50 years for the northern Nigeria, so that we can have a better understanding of what they are doing, so that we can get close to them, so that we can be able to learn, you understand, so that we can also be able to add value.
Honorable Sadiq Bagay, which is the one that organized this, and we must commend him because this is source of unity, and we know Arewa with unity and peace. We inherited that from our forefathers, so we really commend them. They did a wonderful job for us, and we are really praying for the Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to order, bring more wisdom and organize some kind of tournaments in the future, inshallah.
According to them, the selection of players for the under-17 category follows zonal eliminations, with the grand finale of the Peace and Unity Tournament scheduled to hold in Kaduna State as part of the activities marking the 25th anniversary of the Arewa Consultative Forum. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
With that, we come to the end of News Hour tonight on Trust TV. For more of our news programs and documentaries, do well to follow us on social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream. On behalf of the news production team, thank you for joining us tonight. I am Chiamaka Nwafo. Good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
The Daily Trust Foundation has embarked on a mobile clinic project in order to provide occasional healthcare on the go for internally displaced persons in the Northwest geopolitical zone. Over the last 6 years, the activities of bandits and terrorists have destabilized the lives of millions of persons in Kaduna, Katsina, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kebbi states. In such places, there are no